can grow and be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. Every episode, we share tips to improve your physical, mental, social, financial, intellectual, and like today's episode, your spiritual health. Today, we're focusing on astrology and how to improve your spiritual health with astrology. If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made, you have been missing out, but welcome, welcome. This is the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. And we try to keep it as real as possible in the spirit of authenticity. We don't talk about tips or advice before the show starts in the green room, backstage. We keep it as real as possible so there's no bias or persuasion, just 3 awesome guests sharing from their life journey. Audience, this is an interactive show. We love it. Please comment, ask questions. We will answer them live on air so you can help grow as fast as possible. This is a great time for us to give a shout out to some of our followers on social. On Facebook, Ina Chernikova. Thank you so much for following. On Instagram, Sajid. TikTok, CN Craft. And on YouTube, Healthspan with Hala. Thank you guys so much for following. If you want a shout out, go follow us on our socials. Yeehaw! If you want to be a guest on our show, we would love to have you. Everyone in this world has something to share, and we want to hear what you've got to say. Links being dropped right now. Please sign up and be a guest on one of our future episodes. And if you have a topic idea of any kind, send it our way. We'll go out and find 3 awesome guests to go give you a little bit of advice there. Maybe you're going through a tough time in life. Spiritually, you're lost. Financially, you're broke. Physically, you're not quite where you want to be. Let us know. We'll go find some people to give you some tips. If you like what we do, please like, share, comment, subscribe, send stars, whatever it is you're doing on wherever you're watching us helps us out a lot. And this episode is sponsored by, our first sponsor is Sarah Jones. Used to be buried in debt, in a marriage that was failing and making more money than ever before, but Sarah knew there was a better way. She was following one of the big name programs for getting out of debt, but it resulted in more shame, more debt, and living a life that felt awful. So she set out to find a way through the money mess, restore her marriage, and use the money they were making work for them. Now she travels in an RV with her husband, teaching people how to build healthy financial foundations. She's amazing. Go check her out. Next sponsor is Craig Satkovsky. His life exemplifies resilience and transformation. This guy was a 9/11 World Trade Center volunteer and a lung cancer survivor who also overcame childhood trauma, addiction, and adversity to become a certified Les Brown Power Voice speaker. He is amazing, inspiring his storytelling. He challenges societal norms and encourages self-discovery, authenticity, and personal growth. Go check Craig out. He's great. Our next sponsor is Samir Dasani, who's a certified health and nutrition coach. He will tell you science-backed things that don't fit with what's trendy and normal. Pretty cool guy. He's also studying his PhD in anthropology. Through years of his own declining health, he used to be vegan and realized that it wasn't healthy for him. He discovered the healing power of traditional eating practices, which transformed his entire life, and he'd love to share that with you. And our final sponsor is Jesse Lewis, who brings unforgettable entertainment to any event. He's a comedian and hypnotist. He's hilarious. Interactive shows are guaranteed to amaze and engage your guests. His link's being dropped right now. Go hire him for your next event. He's amazing. And without further ado, we're going to bring out our first guest. Her name is Danielle. Danielle, who are you?
Hey, so I am Danielle. I teach emotional intelligence skills, and that's it.
All right. Emotional intelligence skills. All right. Well, you ready for a big question, Danielle?
For sure.
If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with astrology, what simple piece of advice would you give me?
Okay, so what I would recommend, whether this is actually spiritual health or business health, is to use what's called Chaldean astrology, which is basically where the Roman Empire adapted the days of the week from. For example, Sunday being the astrology of the sun, really good day to connect with yourself. Monday being a moon day. So if you're early in your business and you're like, when do I schedule clients? When do I have my meetings? There's a day of the week for that. So that is what I'm going to go over today.
Fascinating. Okay, let's keep going. Where on your life journey did you learn this? And tell us more. And basically, is this going to tell us how to run a successful business?
In a way, it'll help you get started. So it's I learned it in a business mastermind I took 2 years ago. And something most people don't know is, in addition to, I guess, what you would call that collective energy of the week, you have each person has their own individual energy signature. So, for example, like my most productive, best day is a Wednesday, and my least productive day is a Tuesday. So, Tuesdays I lay low. I don't hold myself to the same standards as I do on other days of the week. And if you would like to know what your personal days are,
Yeah,
you can shoot.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You can shoot me a message on Facebook at Danielle Blackmore or on Instagram at Danielle Blackmore _. And we can meet
Her
for
link
30
is
minutes.
dropped right here.
What?
Yeah, if anyone needs her link, it's right there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's fascinating. All
It's
right.
great. It's great.
So
Yeah.
Wednesdays. So today is your day. You're gonna kick ass today, and yesterday you just ate bonbons.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but ironically, it's interesting that the show is on a Wednesday. It's also like Wednesdays are a great networking day. So, however this stuff works out, intentional, unintentional, just kind of fun fact to know.
And this is all based off of how the Romans named the days.
Well, they got it from some other ancient astrology, but it not because of how, I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, how they named it, but it's according to the planets.
The good thing is I have a really good friend that he loves rabbit holes, so I'm going to send him down this rabbit hole, and he'll find out all the juice. Hopefully, he's
Yeah, for
probably
sure.
right now. But I'm gonna. This sounds like a long rabbit hole. Wow. Okay. Well, that's fascinating. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add before we move on to our next guest?
No, that's it.
I'm trying to think if there's a day that I don't. I've never noticed if there's a day a week I'm more productive. Huh. Huh.
We'll talk about it more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think a lot more when I'm not live on the show. All right, next up, we've got Hector. Hector, who are you?
Woo! I'm a man. If you can notice, I am a mystic Jewish mentor, and I specialize in helping businessmen to maximize their life so that they can live inside their legacy rather than to just leave it for somebody else. That's my specialty. I am a Kabbalist, which means that I teach astrology and talk about the astronomical effects from a different perspective, from a more of an energetic place.
Okay.
And yeah, I also, who am I? I'm a man that has actually overcome a quadriplegic paralysis from my neck down, and I'm fully functional, fully fit, and that's because of my life journey has taken me, and I've become very resilient.
Wow. All right, Hector, I got a question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with astrology, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
So it's that the astros are not there to subject you to being in service of that, but
Okay.
it's the other way around. See, they lined up the day that you were conceived and the day that you were born, and they are your servants. They provide energy specifically so that we can use all the energies that are around us, because time is experienced in a spiral experience, meaning it repeats itself at different frequencies. And it's and just like Danielle was talking about, there are different times in your life that it's better for you and worse for you to take certain actions. This will help you understand how those things are to your advantage to do business on certain days, and to have fun on other days. So we
Oh,
have different colors for the days of the week. We were in the back office. Me and Danielle, we just had a great conversation about all of this. It's so cool
you have
that
colors for the days too?
yeah, colors.
What? Where have
Yeah.
I missed all this? Jesus. Um. Okay, so then tell us about your history. Where in your life journey did you learn this advice?
Through the research and the study of what is known as Kabbalah. The word is a Hebrew word that means to receive. I've been a student directly of it for the last 20 years. I grew up in it as with my Jewish heritage, and so I got it from reading very ancient books that are in Spanish and in Hebrew. That's where I got it from,
Wow.
and
Okay.
then
So
putting
now we
some
got the
practical
Romans.
application to this.
Roman, Spanish, and Hebrew. Man, we're going to be doing a lot of studying over the next week, I feel like. I can't wait to see what the hell you guys come up with for a daily challenge. Oh, that's going to be a fun, interesting one. All right. Okay, I've got a great question, but I'll save it for the round robin, and then we have another. Okay, Hector, we're going to move on to our next guest. I'm already excited to get all of you out in the same spot. That's going to be fascinating. So next up, we have Tanya. Tanya, who are you?
My name is Tanya Balarjan. I am a cancer survivor. I am a witch. I've been a witch for a very long time, and I'm a digital marketer. Like,
Witchy digital marketer. All right.
Yep. I help people build the back end of their business, funnels, websites, social media marketing, stuff like that.
What do you use for funnels?
I use Go High Level.
You're a GHLer. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Okay,
about
that
to
doesn't
be
matter to anyone
certified.
else.
That's a whole nother subject, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right, Tanya, if I wanted to improve my spiritual health with astrology, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I would advise you to take your sun sign, the common astrological sign, and look at the negative connotations associated with it, and then work on those things. For example, Virgo is a perfectionist, right? Like that can be a very negative thing. So one of the things that I have been working on is losing my perfectionismness, because it's annoying to me, it's annoying to others, right? Like when you're trying to be a perfectionist, but it also makes you very good at procrastination, because if it's not perfect, you don't want to do it. So go into your sign and look at what the drawbacks are and work on improving those things.
Do you happen to know the negative things of Capricorns?
Not off the top of my head. You guys are very money focused. You guys are very money focused, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would have to look it up. I don't memorize everything. I have a wonderful resource. You just look everything up.
Off the top of your head. All right, Tanya, where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
In my teenage years. I have been studying all sorts of spiritual mysticism, occult type things for, I'm going to say, 40 some odd years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. I'm older than I look.
She meant 30. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, I meant 30.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm actually really excited. We're going to bring everyone out and start this round.
Fantastic.
And we do have a question first. Give me just a second to figure out where the heck it went. All right, Danielle. Oh, what a great question to start off with. What day is better for love?
So that would depend on if we're talking about love making or sex, because Monday would be great if you want to connect with your partner, but Tuesday is governed by Mars and passion. So if you're like, you know what, doesn't matter, fool around on a Tuesday.
What about Venus Day?
I know. I was thinking that too.
Oh.
But is that what you?
What day is Venus Day?
I think it's Friday. Thursday. Oh, it's Friday?
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, it might be Friday.
Viernes. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Venerdy.
That is true. I don't know. Can this person do they mean in the context of a couple or like individually? Because I feel like Fridays are good. Like, I feel like just going out and being beautiful and having a good time.
Christine, ball's back in your court. All right. Well, let's go over some people. Audience, this is a great time to ask questions now that we're in the round robin. We will answer them. Thank you, terrific gamer. Let's go over it. Danielle, let's go over your tip real quick and see what everyone has to think about it. Can you refresh us what your tip was?
I think it was essentially to use the days of the week for your optimal productivity and organization of your schedule, such as like, when do you have meetings? Wednesday, great day. It's because that's Mercury Day. That's really good for chatting with people.
Is that why we scheduled this show on Wednesdays?
It's possible.
Now I'm trying to figure out. Why did we choose Wednesday? Great question, actually. We're going back to that real quick. You said Monday is great for connecting with your partner, right?
Okay, that's what I think.
Oh, tell us why. Why do you think that?
Okay, because Monday being a moon day is an emotional day. So I just think if you want to have emotional intimacy with your partner, that would be the day to do it on.
Oh, cool. One of my really good couple friends, their date night is Monday. I mean, this is reaching. This is typical astrology. You just find things that fit what you're saying. Just kidding. We have Christine's answer. I mean it in like hang out and conversations as a couple, but Danielle is a badass. Wow. Well, okay. There we have it. It's official.
Oh, cute.
So then you would say Monday would be right, Danielle, because that's hang out, conversations, connect with your partner, emotional.
So maybe this depends on like, because this is up to everyone. So I would say go your own way. Google like each day, like Monday, Tuesday, like the days of the week, and decide for yourself, like, does that sound like a good day where I would want to connect with someone through a conversation? Because maybe you're a type of person that does connect more emotionally, or maybe that will end up like through testing your hypothesis, you'll find that, oh, Friday is actually a day where I feel more open and talking and connecting with people through conversation. So I would almost say do the research and then test it out.
Do you think it would change based on people's signs?
I don't know. That's I have to be honest and say
100% does.
Okay.
It absolutely would.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's Tanya, tell us why. Tell us why.
So because the days of the week have their correspondences. So moon day is Monday. So if you are if your sign is ruled by the moon, that's going to be a lot stronger for you. Like a Cancer, they have a Cancer. So they're really going to feel that. But if you have somebody that's not ruled by the moon, they might be not as communicative in that deep emotional set. If you have somebody that's more like an earth sign, like a Capricorn or a Virgo or a Taurus, they're going to be less emotional unless you're going by what the moon sign is. So you have your sun sign, and then you have your moon sign, and then you have your rising sign, and those are the three more important ones. And you need to figure out what your sun, moon, and rising are. And you have correspondences is huge. So like if you're like you could go forever into.
Stop real quick. How do you find those out for the audience? How do you find out moon, rising?
You can
sun,
go get your
sun.
astrological chart done. There are some free versions. Astro Chart, I think, does it for free. Just
like
online. Yep.
Yep.
And you could just go get a free copy of it, and it'll show you what your sun sign is. It'll show you what your moon sign is, and you can.
And sun sign is what we mostly know, the most common one, like Capricorn, Sagittarius.
Right. Sun sign is how you outwardly present to the world. Moon sign is more like your emotional, personal side. Yeah.
Also wanted to point out real quick that Monday is moon because of lunar, which in Italian is lunedì, or in Spanish
lunes
is lunes.
Yep.
Just putting that there. And Friday is venerdì or viernes, which would make sense with your Venus. Just pointing that out there.
Or Frigga's Day, Freya's Day, Goddess of Love. Freya's Day, Friday, Freya's Day. So Goddess of Love as one of her aspects. Yeah. A correspondence, you can go so deep with correspondences.
Is it Venus or Freya's Day on Friday?
So like it depends on with which mythological tree you're looking at.
So what happened is people decided, they took and they hid their God belief in these because the Romans went across conquering everybody. And because of that, then they didn't know how to worship their gods. So they hid them inside the Roman system. So Friday, Frida, right? And Viernes is Venus. And so, but also the Romans, they were polytheistic, they absorbed. So if my God was different name, they would just take the characteristics, add it to one of the gods that was similar to, and say, it belongs right here. And because they were the conqueror, you're like, okay, whatever you want. Yes, sir.
And that's how you have the archetypes. How that happened. So that each mythology set has very similar deities, and they just all have different names. So it's the archetype of the thing.
At least in the Western religions, because I mean, over on the East side, they didn't touch Romans. Romans and the Chinese never really touched each other.
No, but you're still going to have the archetypes there.
Okay.
Yep.
You're going to have deities that have strengths in certain areas, and you can find those strengths in different different pantheons or mythoses as you go along.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how deep into this we can or will go, but it's, it's 7 days a week. You got lunarity and vanity and all that stuff with the Roman side, but then Chinese, they have the animals for the year. Year of the dragon, year of the rat. Also a entirely different day for a new year. It's fascinating how different cultures
Well,
were so similar yet so far apart.
the Celtics.
So what happens is this idea of the archetype. They're all there, and when we begin to have this communication of the language, what's happening, just as we're doing right now, by the way, is we're creating a platform so we can all communicate and understand what each other is saying. So we literally believe the same thing. We just have a different language to express it. That's all.
Okay. Interesting. Fascinating. All right. Well, let's. we did Danielle to a second. Hector, refresh us what your tip was.
My tip is that most people believe that astrology, astronomy, and all these things are things that we're supposed to go towards to learn from. And in fact, it's the other way around. They are there waiting for us to take and assume our rightful place as sovereigns and command and tell them how that energy should be serving humanity. That's the tip. Wake up to who you are. You're truly freaking mind-blowingly awesome. And the Astros were there.
Tanya, what are your thoughts on his tip?
What my thoughts on his tip are, I think he's 100% accurate, because my belief is that we are all God sparks out here learning, growing, so that when we go back to God, we make God better.
I wasn't laughing at you. I'm laughing at the comments.
No.
We're going to interrupt this real quick. This is for Danielle. What day do I need to be born on to get those shoes?
Did she stand up? I missed it. Like, how did we see her shoes?
Well, no,
they're behind her. The one on the
I
wall.
didn't try to cover it. So no, it's not about what day. So I'm a Libra, and so I appreciate my beauty, right? Like, so that's like going out.
Man, really checking the backgrounds here. All right, Danielle, what are your thoughts on Hector's tip?
I think that's, I like that a lot. And I think that's actually so important to bring up with astrology, because a lot of people get into like, oh no, it's retrograde season. Oh, and it like disempowers them. But I really like the way that he pointed out that it's like, no, this is meant to give you like more agency and like freedom and choice in life.
Yeah, very fascinating way to think about that, Hector. I like that. It's because sometimes you talk about astrology and they're like, you're a Capricorn, you like this, and it's kind of restricting, right, and makes you think that the reasons for things aren't outside of your control, which a lot of religion and spirituality can be. But I like that you kind of give us some more empowerment with it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, and we say that we are eternal beings, and we keep coming back in different signs. We choose the day that we're going to be born because we're trying to correct a shattered light so that we can come to unity. So all of us, if you're in one sign now, like Danielle and I are in the Libra, but I'm a very strong Scorpio, okay? And so I have these two factors working in me. But what we did is we were different signs, and as you go along, you are correcting things in your life, in your what I call the primal soul family that you come from, and you're just moving along each sign, and you're going to cover all 12 until you fix what you came to fix.
Wow. So you believe in reincarnation?
Not the way, yes, there is a form of reincarnation, meaning that my energy signature reappears again and again. And it is up to me to remember my other stages. That's the work that I do as an individual so that I can better perform while I'm here and serve humanity.
All right, I've got something very interesting to share with you that I might get yelled at for sharing. So one of my spiritual advisors on my board of directors is super into spirituality, and he has a theory, I guess is what I would call it. His belief is that the world has like spiritual portals, right? And so his is more of a Christian background. There's 4 spiritual portals. One of them's the Earth, one of them's out in the stars, one's the moon, and one's the sun. And that if you accept Jesus and you do good, you get into a spiritual portal, and your spirit becomes in the kingdom of heaven. But if you don't believe in Jesus, but you're a good person, you have to go back through, and you're reborn into through the spiritual portal, and you have to kind of redo life again, which is almost exactly what you're saying there, Hector.
Almost.
It's just fascinating how you can connect 2 people that have never met and are in 2 different lifestyles, but almost saying the same thing. We have a question for you, Hector. Do you believe in hand signs? Do you know what that is?
Not sure what they mean by hand signs. But I can tell you this.
Great.
What I believe is that the hand will show you, especially if you know how to put them together, right? The hand will show you, and it actually changes as you move through life. You can take pictures of your hand and you will see the marks begin to change as you mature in your spirituality. The face also has signs that will show you. So somebody who's very deep thinker like me has a lot of wrinkles in the forehead, okay? Somebody who's very skeptical will have wrinkles and a high center. And so the whole body is nothing more than fractals of the teachings that there are 10 different divisions within us, and all of that just keeps repeating itself. And if you pay attention, you'll see the maps everywhere.
That's huge insight. Do you have like a course on that? Have you ever tried to like talk about all the different wrinkles and how that represents your life?
There are courses that exist and have been around for the longest of time. I personally don't have one. I'm developing some of these courses through a podcast called Waging War Against Gravity, where I'm just talking about all these concepts and sharing with people so that people can rise up from their stupor.
Dang, that's pretty. Hector, you've been dropping some. Man, all of you guys, I don't even know what to do anymore. Shit. This is a pretty enlightening episode. Okay, well, let's go over. Tanya, what was your tip? Can you quickly refresh
Sure.
us?
My tip was going into your sun sign and finding the negative aspects so that you can start working on those.
Oh, yeah. Hector, what are your thoughts on that tip?
I think that yes, that is definitely a positive approach, but also, what do they say this? A swell lifts up all boats, and if you focus on your positivity, you will draw the negatives to a higher level. So we focus on just tell me what your strengths are, and now let's lift them up and bring them into balance, and everything else will pull up.
Interesting.
Danielle, what are your thoughts on Tanya's tip?
Oh, to go into the negative aspects?
Work on them.
Yes.
Work on them?
Do your shadow work.
Now that's different, right? Doing the shadow work is a whole different story.
I don't think so. I think it's the same thing. Like if you're working specifically on the negative pieces, that is doing the shadow work. I correlate them to be the same thing. Maybe I wasn't clear about that, but that is what I mean by that, doing your shadow work.
Hector, how do you interpret? Go ahead, Danielle. Go ahead. Let's talk about shadow.
I was just going to say, I think it's
that
valuable. So like my rising sign is Virgo, which is like inner critic, perfectionism, kind of like what for you, Tanya. And actually, like, but unintentionally, I have had to work on that like a lot. So I think it's very positive, and you get a lot of beneficial results from doing so.
Very cool. All right, guys, the time has come to do our daily challenge. We must come up with a task or series of tasks that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and will help us improve our spiritual health with astrology. What thoughts do you guys have?
I think we should assign them the activity of learning the correspondences of their sign and seeing how that applies to things like days of the week and stuff like that.
Oh, I like that. Learn what your sign and that, because 7 days. So that, what does your sign need to do that day of the week? Is that something that can be answered?
Yeah, they could do that. I think and they can do that fairly quickly. Work on one little bit a day.
Mm.
What are your thoughts, Hector?
I like that very much, and I would say start the day with rising before the sun goes up. Try to listen to the birds as you meditate, because there is a message that comes from listening to a frequency. The birds sing a very different frequency just before, like 20 minutes before the sun up, and if you can take it in, it'll change the way you perceive life. And then ask the universe, hey, how am I supposed to serve humanity today? And you will begin to see the signs and things start to line up, and it'll speak back to you.
That's beautiful.
Learn this day of the week means for your sign.
You can give them 2 homework assignments, Austin.
Yeah. I'm just typing them down, trying to word them right and see what.
How they resonate.
You know what else, Tanya? If people take a moment and just focus on one word, that at the end of the day, they'll see how those pieces start to connect, right? And then they start to see the pattern on how the energy of the day, the energy of the week begins to affect them.
Yeah.
All right, I took all of those together. So the first step is going to be learn what this day of the week means for your sign. So you'll obviously, if you don't know your sign, you'll have to go figure it out. And then you can figure out your lunity, if it's a day for romance and connection, or if Tuesday is the day of passion, whatever you choose. And then I like Hector's idea of asking the universe each morning how you're supposed to help humanity, and then focus on one word each day. I like that too. It's fun when you focus on things, because they really, obviously there's some confirmation bias, but it pops up a lot more than you think.
Right. When you're looking for red cars, that's all you see. So if you're focusing on something,
Right, which is confirmation bias, but it's still, you still start to notice how many red cars there are, and you're like, oh, there are actually a lot.
Well, the magic is
Awesome.
focusing
All
on
right, guys.
patterns.
Yeah. Any last bits before we wrap up this episode?
I think half an hour wasn't enough time. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck, I have a big question. Yeah. Okay.
I'll say last word.
You guys have time?
Okay, I'll say last word. That we,
Okay.
us three,
All right,
us four, having a longer conversation, we could come up with something that could really serve. Just because we're coming from different angles, it would really help people.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. I love it. I love this show and all of you guys coming. I learned so much today. I did not think I would learn nearly this much. All of you guys were dropping bombs. That was awesome. Whew. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Hector and Danielle and Tanya. Wow. All right. We learned days of the week. We learned that each day is something different, and that your sign might affect that. It's part of our daily challenge. TEDx, I think that was last episode. But anyways, thank you. All right. Thank you guys all for watching another episode of Millionaires Are Made. It was an awesome time. We learned all about days of the week. We learned all about rising suns and other signs that I'm not that well versed with. But I hope you guys learned a lot. There was a lot of information there. We'll probably have to rewatch that episode and learn it all. But as you end your day, focus on one word and ask the universe how you are to serve humanity that day, and learn what that day of the week means.